Hey, good afternoon. This is Rex Crane. I hope you are doing really good wherever you are. I know we're in such crazy times. I am quarantined here in my house, probably like many of you, and you're dialing in and you're watching this. I wanted to come today with this idea of raising your life expectancy. You know, there's so much talk right now in verbiage where people are talking all over the different news stations, Instagram, TikTok, about people's life. How long is it going to last? What's going to happen in the doom? And you're watching people become paralyzed and sterilized in their soul. And I'm watching fear really, really start to drive and manipulate the attitudes and actions of so many wonderful people who just a week and a half ago were full of life, going after their dreams and believing this really was going to be an amazing year. It's amazing how events in our life can really jar us to a place where we feel neutralized and we no longer see the possibility or the promise of God that was on our life, or even the dreams that we had of the future, and we go into a survival mode where we're more holding on to what we do have, and we're looking at what we maybe don't have and the potential of losing what we do have. And I want to talk to you today about that, because the reality is life meets you, God meets you at the level of your expectation. There's a scripture, it says in Isaiah 64, and I think it's verse 4, says, God acts for the one who expects him. And I know right now, if you're listening to so much media, so many different people's opinions, it's easy to talk you out of your convictions, where you stop expecting much, stop expecting breakthroughs and your dreams to come to pass, and being at the right place at the right time, expecting things to work. And if you listen to most people's negative commentary and their narrative right now, it's easy to feel like that hope is being diminished. And when hope becomes diminished, oh my goodness, we lose the best part of you. We lose that dreamer, that optimist who's believing. And, life follows your expectations. I don't know about you, but expectations, they kind of set the boundaries for my life. And, if I have small expectations, I end up having a small life. If expectations are big, it's amazing how much fruitfulness, abundance comes into my path. I remember a story they did out of Harvard University where they took a lab rat and they put it into a big tub of water, and it was pitch black, and they wanted to see how long would it swim before it succumbed to its surroundings. It lasted 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Immediately they took out that dead rat and they put in another rat in that same water. This time though, they poked a little tiny hole of light. And when they did and poked that little tiny hole of light in the ceiling, that lab rat lasted 37 hours and over 12 minutes, over 500 times the amount of the other rat. What I want to do today is poke a little hole of light in forecasting and the prediction of where you're going to go. You were born with so much promise, and what's going on right now in the world did not confuse your Creator and God. God knew that this would come your way, but He also believes in what He put inside you is bigger than what's around you. But for you to begin to access that and make the most of the season, rather than just let it navigate for you, talk you into feeling things and going into a sinkhole, then you're going to have to take charge of the narrative and what's driving your mind. Right now, as easy as it is to start looking for everything that potentially you could lose a job, you could lose your income, you could lose your health, they say, you could lose all these different things. They are based on suspicions. They are based on, well, let's just see what kind of happens. But if you really, really wanted to, you could go and start looking at all the things you do have. In fact, if you started inventorying all the blessings in your life, the people in your life that love you, the things that you love, the people that you love, things that you shared, it's amazing how so much of the anxiety and the panic and the dread and that spirit of terror, because that's what it is. It's a spirit of darkness that's sent to terrorize you, to tell you to hold on and hope you make it through this. Let me tell you, I got great news for you. This thing's going to come to an abrupt, sudden halt, and life is going to come back. The challenge is you're not defined by this moment, by what you do in this moment. And you have an opportunity to rise, to get big on the inside, and really start to set your mind in a way that's going to expect God to come through big for you. What I found is every miracle started because there was a problem. There was a challenge. Maybe it was a financial hardship. Maybe it was a loss of a loved one, a loss of health, a loss or a grief of of a distant or distorted relationship that may be marked by betrayal or addiction. But when God got involved, he turned what was a mess and turned it into a message. Today, I want you to raise the roof on your expectation. The God that you serve, the God of the Bible, is a God of promise and possibilities. Over 1,200 times in the scripture, God says, I promise, am going to deliver something. He didn't say, I think about it. Maybe if I'm in a good mood. No, God says, I certainly will do it. If you are in relationship with Jesus today, you are irreversibly blessed. That doesn't matter. No matter what comes your way, you're blessed. I believe, and I say this over your life today, you're blessed even going through this season. You're empowered by the Spirit of God. You're going to come out on the other side, and it's going to be better than what you think. Many of you, God's going to open doors that you did not expect. Some of you are going to have incredible financial opportunities and ideas to invest and do things. You're going to become more resourceful because in these times where things feel constricted, you have the ability to choose your attitude to adapt, become flexible. I mean, even Fortune 500 companies, or 50% of them, they started a time of downturn where things were so shaky around, but they got sturdy within. And that's where I want to challenge you. The scripture says, be steadfast, immovable, and abounding in the work of the Lord. That means we need to shift our attention, our focus back on God, back on his promises. Proverbs 4, the wisdom of the Bible, it says, attend to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Meditate on them things, for they will produce health in your body, health in your mind, health in your soul, and it's going to change the trajectory of your life. Today, inventory all the great things on purpose. Maybe take an extra dose of the promises of God in your life. And begin to pray like never before. Maybe you've never been a person of prayer. I challenge you to begin to pray, but also raise your level of expectation. Don't just pray the problem and beg God to get you out of it. Pray the promise. Believe that God's going to elevate you and take you beyond. Because the scripture says in Psalm 4:1, David said, even in my distress, in my challenge, in my trouble, in a suffering time of my life, in and around me, God enlarged me. I want to challenge you with this promise today. God's about to enlarge you relationally. He's going to enlarge you in ways you did not think and imagine of. For I do say to you today that this disease, this coronavirus, whatever they call, is not nearly as contaminating as the virus of fear in people's mind that's sterilizing the love in their heart and polarizing. Don't isolate yourself in this season. You can insulate yourself with great people, with a community online. Dial in, DM me, talk to me. I want to pray for you. I want to be in your corner. Let's find a way to make some great things happen. I know so many incredible CEOs who are making things happen in companies to find an extra way to add new value. Let this be a really creative way for you in the capacity of your mind to add new value to the people that you serve, the people that you love. And maybe you're going to find a hidden market, a hidden gem in the midst of this that's going to catapult you to the next level. Today, get your hopes up. There might be some reality in your life. And I believe in telling yourself the truth, because truth really does allow you free. And see things as they are, not worse than they are. See things as they are, but then let's see things as better than they are. Because without a vision, without a dream, we got no hope. And without a hope, you have nothing to anchor your mind, your will, your emotions. And finally, let's begin to speak good things. On purpose, let's be a blessing to other people. Find a way to serve, find someone to call, find somewhere that you can sow some type of investment that it's going to cost you time, energy, resource to be a blessing to somebody else. In these times, just like Isaac in the Bible, in a time of famine, he sowed and reaped in that same season. And I want to say this to you, not just as a life guy, coach, or as a speaker, as a motivator, but as a God man. God's going to multiply the seeds you sow in this season. If you sow little, you're going to get little. If you sow much, you're going to reap. And I'll do more than you ask or imagine, and I will enlarge you in your distress. You need to get that inside you as a promise. God is enlarging me through this situation. I am more than a conqueror. God will not leave me. He won't abandon me. And like David said, I would lose heart if I did not believe and expect God would make a way for me in the land that I live. Something's about to shift for you. We're going to see things change, I believe, in a really dramatic time. The media won't say so because they love that parasite called fear. But today, let's not be driven by their narrative. You decide. You guide your mind, as Proverbs says, in the way that you choose of life. The mind of a man plans his way. God directs his steps. By changing your expectations, you change what's possible for you in this season. Come on.